If you're looking for the answers, I still don't have them. But what I do have is a particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people who mislead, misinform, or misrepresent the sports card industry. So if you don't do that, I'll let it go. But if you do, I'm going to talk about you. Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Investigator Show. My name is Andy, and as always, I am your humble host. And hey, it's been a while, right? Rest assured, I am still here. And I will say that if a topic or topics catch my eye, then I'll come back and give you my opinion. As luck would have it, a couple of topics have hit the sports card world that, what the hell, I'll let you know what I'm thinking. And those topics are Kurt's Card Care and Prizm Monopoly. They're back in the spotlight, and at least one of them, or maybe both, but at least one of them is creating quite the brouhaha. Oh, before I forget, I want to let you guys know that Tyler and I did go to the Philly Card Show a couple weeks ago. It was great. We opted for a low-key stroll through. It was a nice leisurely walk. We weren't looking for really anything particular, just soaking in the atmosphere, taking it easy. We went on a Sunday, and thankfully the crowds were manageable. It wasn't horrible. It was a nice crowd. Don't get me wrong, very popular, but manageable. Didn't end up snagging anything for myself, but Ty got some really cool artwork featuring the iconic Philly fanatic. It's really neat, I must say. Yeah, I got to tell you guys, I get a kick out of exploring a lot of the non-sports stuff, the pop culture stuff. It's just something about it just captivates me. I don't know if it's the nostalgia or what, but... And as for the cards themselves, they were abundant. There was no shortage of cards. It did feel... Don't kill me for this, but it did feel like a sea of redundancy. But that's the card world for you, right? It's the same old, but that's the allure, and that's what we all have come to love. One interesting observation that I will make, there was an abundance in the pop culture people selling of Cindy Morgan autographs. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with Cindy Morgan, she famously portrayed Lacey Underall in the iconic film Caddyshack. It was a relatively small role, definitely her most famous movie. Definitely and undeniably iconic for a couple reasons. And sadly, Cindy did pass away recently. And what struck me was the sheer volume of autograph cards and photos that were available for sale. It's a bit of a morbid thought, I'll admit that. But it's almost as if the dealers are betting on a potential posthumous fame of a B or C list celebrity. A dealer Deadpool, if you will. I guess the same could be said for Burt Young or Carl Weathers, but I think they're more iconic or a bit more mainstream or a bit more well-known. Definitely had more reach. And I get that the sudden surge of demand for memorabilia following the passing of a celebrity does increase their value, and unfortunately a lot of this is about the money. Speaking of morbid thoughts, oh boy, I noticed that Prizm Monopoly has made a comeback, and it's flying off the shelves. Strange. But is it? Each to their own, of course. I guess everyone's got their own tastes and preferences, and who am I to judge? I was never a judge. It's a bit baffling me, though. I mean, I try to wrap my head around some of these trends, and it's like trying to decipher a Pac-Man maze. Sometimes you just keep going around in circles, and you see where all that chomping leads to.
Prizm Monopoly. This stuff is yeah, I mean, it's different. When I did that kind of weird retail sets, I did include this stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's odd. And if you don't like Monopoly, you're probably like, huh? I do like Monopoly. I'm still kind of like, huh? But we got it. I think it's fun. Cards look cool, but it is kind of a random one. And these are the boxes. So zoom in here, information. I'll actually take this off so we can read it. And here we go. It's actually very simple. There's just a lot of parallels. So there we go. Here we are. And here's the information. So these are $30. At the time of recording, they're still available online at most retailers. And for $30, they should be 20. All blasters should be that the most, but
Now I gotta admit, what do the kids say? That's some real talk about a product, a little different than the first time Pac-Man spoke about this. Wonder why. But honestly, he did hit the nail on the head. This product should be priced at $20, but do not fret, my friends. Give it about 3 months and watch how this stuff plummets. They'll be giving this away. They're churning out so much of this stuff right now that will probably, if you just think about it, it'll probably just end up on your front doorstep. And here's a little nugget of wisdom for all my Monopoly flipping buddies. If you happen to land anything remotely decent in this product, and I'm using decent in the widest interpretation possible, ditch it, dump it, sell it like your life depends on it, because every second you hold on to that stuff, you are watching your money evaporate faster than the water in the Sahara Desert. Don't get me wrong, it is a fun rip. I still got some from last year. It's a gimmick for sure. Is it worth the money? No, but if you're buying it for fun with no intention of making money, then have at it. But if you're ripping it or entering breaks for it, have we not learned anything?
Base to start. Hopefully we get a, I mean, I haven't got any like colored Wembies yet, which would be insane. Like, I would absolutely love that. It would be like, oh my gosh, I finally hit one. It's like worth maybe 3, 5, 1,000, depending on the pull. But problem is I've already opened enough where it's offsets everything I've opened.
If you listened, he said the quiet part out loud there, but hey, free will. Okay, what's the next topic we can beat to death? Got it. Kurt's card care or card alteration, restoration, buffing, shining, waxing. It's interesting for sure, but before we dive into this, let me pose a question to you guys. Let's just say by some miraculous turn of events, steroids were not only legal, but also safe and cheap. No side effects, no risks. Just pure benefits. Make you feel better than a PSA 10 while transforming you into a Greek god or goddess. Would you be tempted to take them? And there's no need to answer out loud because we both know the answer is a resounding yes. And honestly, who would not be intrigued by a magic pill that promises to enhance your appearance and mood without any drawbacks at all? It's like wishing for a weight loss drug that works almost overnight, if there were only. And you guys know speeding is against the law, right? There's no real question. Of course you do. It's what's called a rhetorical question. And you know that if you speed, you could get a ticket, or worse, depending if you're really racing down the road, maybe even some jail time. But who out there has not sped at least once in your life? But you know it's against the law. And how many people out there you think don't declare all their card sales on taxes? Again, it's a rule, it's a regulation. But I think you get the point. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Kurt's Card Care. Their pitch is simple. Use it on your cards and voila, they look better. As of now, from what I can tell, from what I researched, it's above board legally. I mean, the implications are stirring up quite the conversation, or should I say controversy. People are getting so upset, they're taking it personally, attacking people that have a difference of opinion, being downright mean, hurting people's feelings, calling them lazy and fat. How do they know I was lazy? Anyway, whatever happened to civil discourse, respectful disagreement? It's disheartening sometimes. And I've seen in this hobby 100 times to see such behavior. It's a community that should be built at the very least, on kindness or mutual respect. But so many arguments, tons, against using these sort of products. And what I thought was amusing was that if you only knew how to pick out gradable cards, then you would not need this type of service or product. Now, I will say to you, with all due respect from the gentleman who made that, that is not the best argument. Because I cannot tell you how many cards I have evaluated for grading and put them to the side because, quite frankly, they didn't meet my standards. And I'm sure we've all done that. By the way, how many of you out there have done that? Cards that didn't pass your muster for grading purposes, so you just sold them raw. I'm sure none of you have done that. But if anyone did, do you think they'd put that little tidbit in the listing? Or get that, get a card that didn't grade the way you wanted back from PSA, so you crack it and you sell it raw? I'm not talking to any of you guys. You guys would never do that. Don't get me wrong. But I digress. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you pull a beautiful, super short print Victor Wembanyama card and you're evaluating this thing and you see a little dimple or a print line or a scratch. Gosh darn it! A card that was now worth a couple $100 could, with the proper loving care and treatment, become a card worth thousands. Moral dilemma for some, not for others. Or maybe, oh boy, you just sell it to a repacker at a show as is and he turns your garbage into gold. Oh, don't go there, Andy. Stick to this subject. You're right. At least we can all stand together and rally against repackers. Leave that for another day. And I have seen the staunchest, is that a word, staunchest? Staunchest defenders of the integrity of this hobby cave on their opinions about card enhancement methods for very predictable reasons. Think about it. It's legal steroids for cards, a quick fix to enhance their appearance without breaking any rules. Well, maybe some unwritten or non-existent rules. But if the rules that are broken are not detectable, unwritten, or in this case, non-existent, do we go back to the tree falling in the forest? This controversy really came to a head recently when a Wembanyama card graded by PSA and the owners of the card publicly thanked Kurt's Card Care. And then a statement later came out from PSA and it went something like, lots of conversations about this card in recent days. I got a hold of it, the person who was talking for PSA, and its cousin. They were both in-house. PSA stands by its original assessment, and our graders did not detect anything with the surface to deem it was altered. That said, I want to clarify. PSA does not approve of any chemicals or foreign substances being added to the surface of the card to improve the condition or appearance. If we detect that this has happened to any card, we will consider it altered. Holy ambiguity, Batman, not to mention a potential contradiction here. You'll see in a minute. While the statement begins by asserting that PSA stands by its original assessment and did not detect any alterations to the surface of the card, it then goes on to state that PSA does not approve of any chemicals or foreign substances being added to the surface of a card for improvement. This suggests that even though no altercations were detected, the use of such substance would still be considered altering the card. This, my friends, creates confusion regarding the criteria PSA uses to determine if the card has been altered. If no alterations were detected, why would the use of chemicals or foreign substances matter? Additionally, the statement lacks clarity on what constitutes an alteration and how PSA distinguishes between natural wear and tear and intentional manipulation.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God. That's
Damn. PSA 10. Holy shit. Crazy. Crazy.
PSA is the best.
Oh, thank you. Man. Appreciate it. Holy.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, sit down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro. Hey, real quick though, I want to give a huge shout out to Kurt's Card Care. Kurt, if you're watching this, your product is phenomenal. I lost of work.
So here's the thing. If you watched that, which I know you guys did probably multiple times, the owner of the card never admitted they used Kurt's Card Care, but they did thank him, and you can draw your own conclusions. But look, I was born on a Thursday, but not last Thursday. So we have to infer, I know sometimes dangerous, but I'm going to go there, from the information that PSA does not know or believe or think there's direct evidence that Kurt's Card Care, or anything for that matter, was used on this card, because if they did, that would constitute an admission and that cleaning or wax was used in the card, and that directly contradicts PSA policy against the use of chemicals or foreign substances to improve a card's condition. If that is the case, then this statement should have acknowledged the alteration and stated that the card would be considered altered according to PSA's standards. Didn't happen. And failing to do so, in my humble opinion, undermines the consistency and credibility of the grading process. And that, my friends, made my head hurt. Now, before you ask me, before you're wondering, no, I have not tried this product. But I would be lying if I told you I wasn't thinking about it. I cannot tell you how many cards, how many hundreds, thousands of cards I have evaluated and thought, damn it, that print, scratch, or dimple, if only. And look, Kurt's Card Care isn't the only player in town. There are others, and they are touting their own methods for improving cards. They're making their own presence known at card shows. We saw one at the Philly show. They're on Instagram. They're on various and other platforms. No one is hiding from this. They are talking about it as if it is an acceptable part of the hobby. The cards that would be 10. The cardiologist. The slab surgeon. Unbotched cards. Now, before you start searching for those, I made them up. I made all those names up. But would it surprise you if you started to see any of that or any of those names pop up on card shows? And let's face it, the card improvement business is gaining traction for a reason. There is a demand for what they're offering. After all, if nobody cared about sprucing up their cards, and these guys would not have a market to tap into. So why now all of a sudden? Well, they say that necessity is the mother of all invention, and these mothers are definitely satisfying a necessity for a lot of people out there. And there's lots of implications. I haven't even scratched the surface. See what I did there? And people argue it'll fuel the fire between the age-old feud between... It'll fuel... Did I say feud? It'll fuel the fire between the age-old feud, the Hatfields and McCoys, between the flippers and the collectors. Some flippers will argue that it's a savvy, smart move, while other purists see it as tampering with the authenticity or integrity. I hear that a lot. The integrity of a card. And like I mentioned before, I've watched influencers, content creators losing their freaking minds over this. Strong language and strenuous objections.
I strenuously object. Is that how it works? Objection overruled. No. No, I strenuously object. Oh, wow. Strenuously object, and I should take some time to reconsider.
Not to mention funny and, dare I say, amusing takes.
I make you laugh? I'm here to fucking amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Not just, how you tell a story. What?
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny. How the am I funny? What the is so funny about me? Tell me. Tell me what's funny.
But entertaining nonetheless. Like anything influencers or content creators, including me, anything we say or suggest or think we sway the powers to be, it's obvious that we have no pull here. We have delusions, but we have no pull. And ever since I've been talking to you guys, it's been over 3 years now. It's crazy, right? I've said, unless there are regulations or rules put into place, nothing is going to happen. This is unregulated. What did you guys expect? And I always get, we don't need no regulations. We're fine. Shut up, G-Man.
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Well, you got what you wanted. You got what you wanted. Got what you wanted. Here we are. Got to live with it. Got to live with it. You can't complain. You got to live with it. We always complain. But let's just say, for argument's sake, we shifted the focus to the root of the problem. What's the root of the problem, Andy? Tell us. Well, what if card manufacturers just did their job? They upped their game. They started producing cards with better quality control. Imagine if you would, a world where dents, dimples, and print lines were more the rarity than the norm. That would certainly put these card fixers out of business. But I hold out zero hope for that. Now let's get real. Those imperfections are precisely what fuels the demand for card fixers and enhancers and helpers in the first place. I'm talking about ultra modern. I get it. There's other issues with vintage, with soaking and pressing. I get it. But it's a vicious cycle, one that's unlikely to be disrupted anytime soon. So until the industry sees some serious changes, we're stuck with navigating these murky waters of card care products and their impact on the hobby. And one more thing, well, there's a couple more things. One more thing before we end. They do say that all good things come to those who wait. What a segue. So back in 2019, Tyler and I were opening up a pack of a very underrated set of Panini Chronicles, and I pulled a redemption. And at the time, I'm like, whoa, I'm excited. I'm going to get this puppy back. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make some moolah. Not so much, because last week, 3 years later, I received this little gem. Tyler Hero to 99 patch auto. Back then in 2019, I'm going to guess I could have probably got a quick $300 to $500 for that card. Now, maybe $30. Hell, I'd give it away to some kid if he liked it. Times have really changed, so thought you guys would get a good. Should I sue Panini for back wages or back lost money? Anyway, I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So that's it for today. Leave a comment. Be nice. Let me know your thoughts. I know we don't agree on everything, but we could still be friends. A lot of my friends in the hobby world disagree vehemently with this, but we have pleasant discourse and talk and have fun with it. And I would be interested in your thoughts. So, if you like what you see, hit the like, hit the subscribe. You know the rest. If you don't like what you see, that's impossible. And until next time, take care.